am still celebrating that during this pandemic, I got published in a couple of different anthologies. One of them is called Bear Shit on the Trail, Essential Poems of Earth First.
Oh, great.
And also happily, that poem was also published in the Willits Environmental Center newsletter. And since the type's bigger, I'm going to read it from that. This is called Bear Wilderness Meditation. I know you want that pack and all that's in it safe. Stack of synthetic fibers holding so much of your protection. Your sunblock, your gloves, your lip balm, your extra clothes, your flashlight, your notebook with its soulful reflections, half-remembered dreams, and literary pretensions. But maybe you should just let the bear have it. Bear, who is always bare naked, carries all its protection in itself. Great monster Buddha of the wilderness, eats so many berries, shits purple, shits orange. Though all bear wants is your food, bear would gladly rip your baggage apart. Fearing or hating bear does no good. Hungry mammal like yourself. Have compassion for bear and all beings. Have compassion for yourself. Your margin of safety is thinner than you think, and wide as the starry sky. Thank you. And then I also got published in the San Francisco Revolutionary Poets Brigade book of poems called Building Socialism, Fighting Fascism. Not precisely what my poem was about, but I'm glad that they could see it, that it fit. I actually sent them a couple of poems, and the other one I thought was the one that was really much more in their frame, but bless them, they published the better poem. It's called Here. The names of flamboyant, notorious leaders, with their trumped up self-importance, may be remembered long after most of us. But hold on to and nourish, keep alive in our culture all that leads by living example, courageous love, unselfish justice, creative compassion, persistent caring, gratitude for all in the interrelated web of life, so that those that come after us might inherit an inner compass, able to hold community together as it guides them through the perilous, burning darkness ahead, back to these places we've called home, but have barely truly known, where the final test of survival will be learning to find sustained sustenance here within our local watersheds, here with no place else to go, here to survive. We will need to re-indigenize. And I'm sure many of you in this pandemic period have had your moments of self-absorption. This is my weird little take on it. Actually, because I'm going to cut out the longest piece, I think I can talk something. One of the things that inspired this was I have this, now it's a series of costume poems with masks. And I was working on the two of those simultaneously, and it turned out I realized that I was working on the coyote piece and a raven piece at the same time. And both of those are what in Native American mythology are tricksters. That's what the comparative mythologists call them. And they have worldwide presences in many cultures. Anyway, so I started reading more about tricksters. And I'll get a quote from one of those, and that's sort of one of the things that sparked this. This is called Name Trick. And it's got several epigraphs. From a dictionary definition of Kirk, 1, a church. From the King James Version of the Bible, John 4:16, God is love. A Sufi saying, there are as many paths to God as there are souls on earth. From Song of Myself by Walt Whitman, I celebrate myself and sing myself. Divine am I inside and out, and I make holy whatever I touch or am touched from. From Trickster Makes This World, Mischief, Myth, and Art by Lewis Hyde. This sacred, not sacred position enables tricksters to perform a unique set of necessary tasks. From enlivening gods that have been deadened by their own purity, to negotiating the divide between heaven and earth. By naming me Kirk, my mother and father seem to have intended to begin to instill in me, even before birth, their faith. And growing up, I was highly encouraged by them for years, and their parents before them, to commit to church, its beliefs, and participation in its community. And I saw how sincerely my parents were a part of it. And I went to church with them practically every single Sunday of my life before I left home for college. And the church service was always preceded by Sunday school. And in my teens, I also went to church youth group on Sunday evenings. And I earned a God and Country Award from the Boy Scout troop that met in the same church building. I was baptized as a baby in the church. I sang in a children's church choir directed by my mother. When I was 12, I became a member of the church. I shared in the church's communion sacraments of unleavened bread and grape juice. I lit the candles on the church's altar. But ultimately, church didn't feel right for me. I couldn't commit to it. Though a great disappointment for my parents, I think now, they were finally able to accept it because they so loved their only child that in their heart of hearts, they could understand how deeply I needed to follow my own spiritual path, but never intending to, and only unconsciously at first, I began to manifest, and not until many years later, finally realized I had played and lived a name trick. For I had committed to the church named Kirk. I hadn't come to Jesus. I'd come to myself as celebrant, preacher, author of some of the sacred texts, rock and jazz bands my choirs. This congregation of cells, bones, and organs brought together by my parents' union is the body of my church, and my worship turning breath into poems that are prayers, sermons, and hymns. And you are always invited, with no need to convert or say you believe, to join me in gratitude for the baptism of rain, river, lake, spring, and ocean, for every moment in the immense presence of wild nature, where subtly but fiercely shining beneath every surface, not just the potential, but the inevitability of resurrection, for the intoxication and grounding of shared sacraments, food, drink, smoke, music, dance, in celebration of the one love communion, of the interwoven unbroken continuum of energy, matter, life, mind, spirit, in all forms, under Father, Son, on Mother Earth, in the vast swirl of DNAs and galaxies, infinitely co-evolving with the God being that is the universe. Thank you. Now I was going to throw in my really long Gaia poem, but I'm not going to. Just because it was a little too long, pushing the whole thing.
You're all right now.
This is an old poem, but unfortunately the issues remain. It starts in Tibet. It's called Prayer Flag. There is a small, high mountain, almost treeless land where they used to raise their prayers on little flags that fluttered like rectangular tree leaves. That land is now occupied by a huge foreign power that, parenthetically, is a significant trading partner of this nation of which I am a citizen by birth. This nation that now occupies other lands, where prayers rise in turquoise domes and squawk from tinny speakers on lovely spires. One day, may all people be free. May no one be bombed or tortured. And may all occupations cease, including the occupation of this land, our presence here becoming relationship with this land and all that are native to it. And may we one day live in a borderless democracy of living beings where the churches are forests and flagpoles are trees whose leaves are praying tongues that lick the wind with the language of love, above roots, reaching deep into our only homeland, this earth. And I know at least some of you out there have caught before one of my costume poems. And that would have been my Stellar's J rap. But you're only going to get one of my costume pieces tonight, and because I know some of you have caught the where are my notes? Have caught my Stellar's J rap. This is actually, though it's a sing-along like the other one, and hopefully you'll be able to get into that. But the Stellar's J's, just to, for refresh your memory, those are the ones with the prominent black crests on their heads. This one is kind of a sequel to that. It is from the Scrub Jay's point of view. Now, both Stellars and Scrub Jays are in the same bird family, Corvidae, and thus are corvids, like crows and ravens. And there's a quote referred to in this rap from the book The Genius of Birds by Jennifer Ackerman. And the actual quote is, it says that Scrub Jays are, quote, masters of the spatial memory game on a colossal scale. She says this because they can remember about 5,000 locations where they've stashed acorns and other foods. And what I call the dip is a move that Scrub Jays do when perched around the ground. It's kind of like this. Now, with the kind of seating we got here, we're probably not going to get you to do that, but I have gotten people to do this before. And for the sing-along part, if you don't do the dip, you can't do the sing-along. I use the spelling Zreep. That's Z-R-E-E-E-P. Zreep. And all of the bird book authors all use a different spelling for the sound. But they all agree on the long E and the fact that it has a rising sound like our inflection does when we ask a question. So hopefully you will recognize that the more you participate, the funner it will be. And you can do the straight zreep sound or something more like the way the bird actually sounds. And I also want to give credit. This costume I was helped with by somebody named Kirk Lumpkin, who you probably don't know, but my fabulous mask was created by Willits' marvelous artist, David Partch. And I think you'll agree it's quite lovely once I get it on. And I just want to refresh you on what this bird actually sounds like, or one of its sounds, the one sound that I'm using in my chorus, which I hope you'll join me with. Three! Okay, sure you can handle this. So now, it's time for you to meet MC Brilliant Blue. This is Brilliant Blue that's talking to you. I'm not only smart, but I'm good looking too. I'm that blaze of blue you see shooting through to the top of a bush where I get a view of any opportunity to be discovered while I'm keeping my partner's back covered. We are a team like husband and wife, and we mostly have one mate for our whole life. And you might say for birds we are very liberated as our roles are not so gender dictated. Like in the spring, both the male and female partner serenade and dance for each other. And we got moves, and we got sounds. Do this with me, and we'll all get down. We do the dip, we do the dip, we do the dip, we do the dip, and we say, sweet! Like you say, what? Yeah, we say, sweet, sweet, sweet! It really doesn't matter anything to me because I'm not defined by your reality, but I just have to say your name for us really just doesn't do us justice. The way that Scrub J sounds to us is like you want to wipe your floors with us. But we are real assets to our communities as we are the greatest planters of oak trees. Each fall of Jake and stash away 5,000 acorns is the dietary legacy into which we're born, but many of the acorns that a jay berries will grow up to be very mighty oak trees. And we got moves, and we got sounds. Do this with me, and we'll all get down. We do the dip, we do the dip, we do the dip, we do the dip, and we say, sweet! Like you say, what? Yeah, we say, sweet, sweet, sweet. Our black-crested cousins like it in the woods, but in the open sun is where we feel good. And up close, of course, we have respect for our stellar relations. Don't you think those crests are an affectation? And I know MC Stellar J claims to be a star, and maybe is in the forest wet and dark, but I'm the one that rocks the oak woodlands and chaparral are where I make my stand, and if you live in our territory, I will rock your backyard even in the city. We all know the kinds of places we were made for, but we still don't understand where you were made for. But we got moves, and we got sounds. Do this with me, and we'll all get down. We do the dip, we do the dip, we do the dip, we do the dip, and we say, sweet! Like you say, what? Yeah, we say, sweet, sweet, sweet. We eat fruits and seeds and lizards, small snakes and insects, frogs and eggs and little birds and small rodents. We get eaten by hawks and owls and cats and by other corvids. Our eggs get eaten even when they are very well hid by raccoons, skunks, and snakes, and by the gray squirrels, by other corvids, and also by the squeakweasels. As omnivores, it could be said we're much like you. We know it's dog eat dog and whatever you can chew, but we only ever kill to feed ourselves, while you seem to kill and hate and to amuse yourselves. You kill so many creatures every single day. It's like every other form of life is just in your way. But we got moves and we got sounds. Do this with me, and we'll all get down. We do the dip, we do the dip, we do the dip, we do the dip, and we say, sweet! Like you say, what? Yeah, we say, sweet, sweet, sweet. There's a book named Genius of Birds. My picture's on its cover right beside those words. It says we are masters of spatial memory. We remember on a level where you will never be. And some of us steal acorns. Our most important food, worth more to us than money, is worth to you. And stealing seems like something you would understand, even if we don't do it as much as humans. In fact, it's when we steal, humans seem impressed and see in it our intelligence. And we like to have fun and can be pranksters, pulling on the tails of cats and woodpeckers. Yeah, we got moves and we got sounds. Do this with me, and we'll all get down. We do the dip, we do the dip, we do the dip, we do the dip, and we say sweet. Like you say, what? Yeah, we say sweet, sweet, sweet. Like you say, what? In the air, there hangs a question. Where will you get going this direction? MC Brilliant Blue thanks you for your attention. Three! Three! Three!
Way to go, man.
Yeah, so there's a scrub J1, there's the Stellar J1, and there's a Raven one now too, which are these raps. Anyway, I'm gonna do what maybe. How's the time going, Mike? Do you have us?
Betsy, what time is on the clock there?
5 minutes after 8.
Yeah, probably 10 minutes. And we
Well,
probably should take a little break.
I'm not gonna do that much. I'm gonna do, maybe I'll do a couple of shorties. The seed of love. There's something shining in the darkness, deeper than electric lights can reach. It is the seed of love you have barely touched inside yourself. It remains even when all the seed corn has been eaten in the famine after the drought. It cannot be altered by hybridization or genetic engineering. It is waiting for you to nurture it. Its only desire is to grow. And yeah, I got two more shorties. This is called At My House. The past is screaming from the basement, telling me it knows the score, while I'm wrestling with the presence in a tangle on the floor. So I can't let in the future, knocking loudly at the door, who I know has come to ask for more than I ever gave before. I know David's heard this one, but maybe nobody else has. I don't know, Ursula must have heard this too, yes. But anyway, it's called Rebel. R-E-B-E-L-L. Rebel. Rebel, rebel, rebel. Remember, you are the swinging, ringing bell of being. Do not accept any way of living where you do not feel the pulse and tingling vibrations of the beating heart at the center of the web of life, connecting all beings in one echoing, humming, singing, ringing whole. Rebel, rebel, rebel. If you do not feel down in your bones and out to the stars, through every atom, idea, and emotion. The cosmic flow of the universal waves of love and oneness ringing in you and through you and from you. Rebel, 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 rebel. Resist, refuse, repair, reuse, recycle, restore, rejoice. Remember, you are the swinging, ringing bell of being.
Way to go, Kirk.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we gotta take a break, or?
Yeah, we're gonna take a break. So let's take a little, like a 10 or 15 minute break. Come into the lobby.